The engineering reality of passive guitar circuits is that standard factory wiring is fundamentally flawed right out of the box. Most players assume that manipulating the instrument's controls simply lowers the volume. But that's a misconception. You aren't just turning down the sound. You're dynamically altering the electrical properties of the circuit and, quite frankly, destroying your tone in the process. Understanding this physics is the first step to truly mastering your electronics.
Let's confront this head-on. The common myth is that the volume knob merely drops the signal level, but electrical engineering proves it actually forms an RC low-pass filter that kills your treble. We're going to break down the precise circuit math right now in this explainer to show you exactly how and why this frequency loss happens and exactly how we correct it.
To understand the physics here, we have to look at the core components, starting with the potentiometer, which is a variable resistor used to control signal flow by restricting it and bleeding it to ground. It doesn't just magically turn the signal down. It restricts the signal's forward path and creates an alternative escape route to ground, physically changing the electrical landscape your signal travels through.
The second element in this equation is your cable. Here's where capacitance comes in, which is the inherent ability of a system, like a standard 5-meter guitar cable, to store an electrical charge. Because your guitar operates on a passive circuit without an active buffer, that capacitance interacts heavily with your electronics before the signal ever reaches the amp, acting as a reservoir that holds on to specific frequencies. When you combine these two elements, the variable resistance of the volume pot and the capacitance of the cable weld themselves together into a circuit that strongly opposes high frequencies. They create a severe electrical conflict right at the output stage, entirely altering the sonic profile of your pickups the exact moment you touch that volume knob. This accidental combination creates a low-pass filter, which is an electrical circuit that blocks high frequencies from escaping the guitar and only allows muddy, low frequencies to pass through. The second you roll your volume back from maximum, this filter engages, trapping your high-end clarity inside the instrument so it never even hits your amplifier's input stage. Let's look at the internal impedance curves. A standard 250K ohm volume pot hits its maximum internal impedance of exactly 62.5 kiloohms right near the middle of its sweep. Think about what that means. You're throwing a physical wall of 62.5 kiloohms of resistance in front of your signal exactly when you've rolled back for a rhythm part and articulation is needed most.
The exact point where this treble roll-off begins isn't subjective. It's dictated by the RC cutoff frequency equation, where FC equals 1 divided by 2 pi times resistance times capacitance. This mathematical reality demonstrates exactly how the resistance from your pot and the capacitance from your cable inversely control the precise onset of high-frequency loss. It's pure, predictable physics at work under your fingertips.
Analyzing a worst-case scenario makes this extremely clear. Take a 500 kiloohm potentiometer. Rolled down halfway, it yields 250 kiloohms of series resistance. When you combine that resistance with roughly 400 picofarads of cable capacitance from a standard 5-meter cable, the resulting cutoff frequency forces a harsh high cut at precisely 1600 Hz. Your clarity is mathematically erased, stripping the presence and air straight out of your tone. Even in a standard single-coil 250 kiloohms setup, the cutoff frequency drops to around 3.6 kHz at partial rotation. This roll-off above 3 kHz is devastating. It utterly destroys the resonant peak of your pickup and dulls the transient response, the literal attack of your pick against the string. It completely alters how your amplifier reacts to your playing dynamics, and you lose the edge that helps you cut through a dense live mix.
The physics of this signal degradation are undeniable. The resistance from the potentiometer blocks the high frequencies from passing through the cable, sending all that crisp, articulated treble straight to the ground lug. You're left with a muddy, muffled signal that sounds like speaking with a hand firmly over your mouth, leaving only a dull wash of low mid-range frequencies.
Tell me in the comments, do you avoid using your guitar volume knob because it makes your tone too muddy?
Fortunately, engineering provides a precise solution to this high-frequency loss. We implement what's known as a treble bleed, which is a bypass circuit network utilizing a capacitor and a resistor to allow high frequencies to circumvent the volume pot's resistance. It builds a bridge right over that 62.5 kiloohm wall we discussed earlier, giving your treble frequencies a free pass directly to the output jack.
Now, the most rudimentary method is using only a capacitor across the input and output lugs of the volume pot. However, this overcompensates. Because it lacks a resistor to control the flow, it creates brittle, harsh tones at low volume settings. High frequencies pass completely unchecked, while low frequencies are heavily blocked, leaving you with a thin, unnatural ice-pick sound. To correct this imbalance, professional applications dictate the use of both a capacitor and a resistor. We rely on two primary networks, the Kinman series circuit and the Duncan parallel circuit. While both effectively solve the low-pass filter problem, they yield very different electrical realities under the fingers. Understanding this difference is key to matching the right circuit to your playing style.
Let's break down the Duncan parallel mod first. In this layout, the resistor is wired alongside the capacitor. It acts as a speed limit for those high frequencies passing through the cap, preventing them from getting too brittle or overpowering the mix. This parallel configuration flattens the EQ smoothly as you roll the volume down, maintaining a very consistent tone from 10 all the way down to 1.
To fully understand the parallel circuit's impact, we have to look at the engineering dynamics of pot sweeps. A logarithmic or audio taper drops to 10% resistance at 50% rotation. This steep curve mimics how human hearing perceives volume changes. Contrast this with a linear taper, which yields exactly 50% resistance at half rotation. Human ears do not hear volume linearly, which is why audio tapers are standard in guitars.
Because the resistor is in parallel with the potentiometer's internal resistance, the Duncan network significantly alters an audio pot's taper. It forces a very gradual volume change at the top of the dial from 10 down to 7, but causes a very fast, abrupt volume drop between the numbers 3 and 1. If you rely on smooth volume swells, this taper alteration can be a serious hurdle, making the bottom of your dial feel like an on-off switch.
Shifting over to the Kinman series mod, the electrical interaction changes entirely. Wiring the components end-to-end with the capacitor preserves the natural feel of the volume sweep. Instead of altering the pot's taper, it slows down the high frequencies as they bypass the circuit. This broadens the resonance peak and retains much more bass presence during roll-off, resulting in a thicker tone at lower volumes that many gigging professionals prefer for rhythm work.
When calculating these networks for standard applications, strict component values are required. Exact professional specifications for a series treble bleed typically utilize a 1000 PF capacitor paired with a 150 kiloohm resistor. This is not guesswork, it's engineered to properly match and bypass typical cable capacitance without overbrightening the signal. Using random components throws the RC math completely out of balance, so sticking to these precise values is critical. Which brings us to the final point. If electrical engineering mathematically proves that standard wiring destroys high-frequency transient response through an unintended RC low-pass filter, why do major guitar manufacturers still refuse to factory install a 50-cent treble bleed network?